Hi guys, I hope you're all well. I'm Sim and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you all about how we can manage stress. Okay, so before I get into the video I just want to disclaim that all these tips that I'm giving are literally just coping mechanisms that I've tried or that close ones have tried that I know work for myself or for them. However, I think with stress and mental health as a whole, what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. I think coping mechanisms are very individual to the person, so don't take what I'm saying as Bible. So one of my top tips for managing stress at uni or just in general is staying organised, and so I'm going to share with you some of the ways that I like to stay organised. The first one being making lists. Now, people that know me know that I can preach about lists all day, every day. For some reason I'm just obsessed with them. They really do just organise my life, whether it's academic related or just literally anything. I'll do a food shop on there because it just makes me feel productive and sort of like eggs me on to do more. I think it's just ticking things off a list that I find really rewarding, so definitely try that out if you haven't already. During exam time and just hectic times where you might have loads of coursework deadlines or whatever, I love to schedule and make timetables. I find this really keeps me accountable for how much time I spend on each task, because I can procrastinate. It gives you a time frame to work along. Speaking of time, I like to set timers because this is sort of a bit of a fun way to race against yourself. I do say if you set yourself a particular amount of time, you will get that task done in that particular amount of time. So for something that I might dawdle on and take hours doing, if I set a 30-minute timer, there's a high chance I'm going to get that task done in the 30 minutes. Okay, so my last tip in the staying organised realm is not leaving your work till last minute. Doing the work literally the day it's set is really helpful. Something will pop up every day, so if you do the work that you're given, or try to at least on the day, for me anyway, it relieves a lot of stress because it doesn't all build up. Self-care really helps me keep on top of my stress. I like to make sure that I get enough fresh air because when I get stressed I tend to hole myself up in my room. As much as I love my room and I've tried to make it really relaxing, as you can sort of see, it's not good to stay inside that long. So I'd really recommend just making sure you get even just 5 minutes of fresh air every day because it really does boost your mood and it's just healthy too as well. I think when I say the phrase self-care, a lot of people might just think self-care is just whacking on a face mask and calling it a day. That is definitely not the case. Self-care can be something a lot deeper than just a face mask. Another factor of self-care is exercise. Again, I really neglect exercise when I get stressed, or I tend to, but recently I've really been trying to get out of that, and I have a couple of weights under my bed, so whether it just be a dance workout, which are really fun, or using my weights and doing, I don't know, a few reps of a bit of everything, then that really does just help my mental health personally because I forget about everything. I forget about all my worries, what I've got to do tomorrow. I find that I really do just concentrate on the workout. And also working out releases those happy endorphins, so definitely I recommend. Getting enough sleep is a huge recommendation that I would give you guys because I think at university you can fall into the trap of just a bad routine in general. I've really been struggling with my sleep lately. For some reason I just can't fall asleep and therefore I'm getting up too late. So what I'm really trying to do is create a really relaxing nighttime routine that makes me feel sleepy, relaxed, and less stressed, so that I can get a good night's sleep. So moving on, I know that money for a lot of people can be super stressful. I'm not great with budgeting, but I do recommend budgeting, and I'm really trying to, the past few weeks I've really been trying to budget, whether that be just keeping track on your online banking, on your app, on your phone, which is what I've been trying to do, or what I would like to try is actually making Excel spreadsheets, and my dad actually recommends that I do this. So on top of academic work and money, I know time can be a huge factor of stress for a lot of people. So for me, I most days feel like there's not enough time in the day, and that really stresses me out because if I'm not productive enough, then I think, oh god, well now it's bedtime, I've got to go to sleep, and I didn't achieve anything. So one thing that really helps me when I am struggling for time in the day and I just want to suck out all the time in the day as possible, is actually meal planning. That really just stops you from walking into Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, wherever you shop, and just picking up whatever you fancy. And yeah, you just have enough for your meals. One, it makes for a quicker food shop, and two, you know what you're cooking and you don't have to think about it, if that makes sense. So you know what meals you're going to be making over the next 2 weeks, and you don't have to sit there and think, what should I have for dinner today? Not only that, I fully recommend freezing your food and meal prepping. So if I'm making a dish that I know I have enough to cook more of, then I'll cook more of it, and if it's freezer safe, then I'll whack it in some Tupperware, put it in the freezer, and then on the days where I'm really struggling for time, I can just literally defrost it. That is a huge top tip, and I know a lot of the girls that I live with do that too. So my last tip for managing stress at uni or in general is reaching out for help. Sometimes everything can just get a bit much and it's all too overwhelming, and we need a bit of help, and that's okay. Asking for help can seem daunting and for some embarrassing, even though it shouldn't be at all. Reach out to friends, family, or even your university mental health services. I have personally used all three, and they're all super helpful. I feel like family and friends, they can give you a bit more of a personal, deep approach to helping you, but also just be an ear, a listening ear. But sometimes it's nice to talk to somebody who doesn't necessarily know you inside out, and so for times like that I did reach out to my university mental health services. So if you don't already know, I go to the University of Liverpool, and they have been super helpful. At first I was a bit scared, it took me a few months to do that into first year, but when I did, I was so glad. Because not only can they give you professional advice because they're trained, they can also just listen. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to talk to family and friends for whatever reason, and that's okay as well. So definitely reach out for help, because it just takes a weight off your shoulders, and that's coming from first-hand experience. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy, and I hope some of my tips were helpful. If you don't already know what helps you manage your stress, try out all the things that I've mentioned, but also do your own research, and then sort of find out what works for you so that you can fall back onto those things whenever you feel stressed, but also use these tips or other tips you might find out as a preventative as well. So thanks again, and I hope to see you guys soon.